All right, welcome to NFL Nexus. Let's get right into it. The Seattle Seahawks? They have a team that is absolutely built to win a Super Bowl. But, and it's a big but, all their hopes are pinned on one of the most interesting and kind of terrifying paradoxes in the entire league. Their quarterback, Sam Darnold. He's a Pro Bowler, sure, but he might also be their single biggest weakness. So today we're going to break down the absolutely insane amount of pressure he is under heading into a playoff game where everything, his career, his team's entire season, is on the line. Okay, so here's what we're going to cover in this deep dive. We'll look at Seattle's Super Bowl hopes, then get right into the Sam Darnold paradox. After that, we'll see what Tom Brady has to say about playoff football and how that clashes with Seattle's whole aggressive mindset. Then, of course, there's that last-minute injury scare, which all leads us to the ultimate playoff question. All right, first up, Seattle's Super Bowl hopes. And look, to really get why there's so much pressure on Sam Darnold, you have to understand just how good this team is. We're not talking about a pretty good team that might make a run. No. This is an elite, championship-ready roster. They have all the pieces. They've built a total juggernaut. And, that's what makes that one big, lingering question mark, the one at quarterback, feel so massive. Okay, just take a look at these stats. I mean, they tell the whole story, right? This is a picture of pure, unfiltered dominance. A 14-3 record in today's NFL, that is just an incredible achievement. It shows you how consistent they've been, and it got them that all-important #1 seed in the NFC. And you know what that means? A week off to get healthy, and, maybe even more important, home field advantage. The road to the Super Bowl literally goes through Lumen Field, which, as you know, is one of the loudest, craziest places for a visiting team to play. And then there's the defense. Under their rookie head coach, Mike Macdonald, who is a defensive genius, by the way, they've built the single best scoring defense in the entire league. Think about that. Out of all 32 teams, nobody gives up fewer points than these guys. Their point differential is the best in the history of the franchise. That tells you they aren't just squeaking by with wins, they are blowing teams out. You add in a punishing run game that chews up the clock, and man, that is the recipe for a championship. But, there's always a but, waiting for them is their biggest rival, the San Francisco 49ers, a team that knows them inside and out. So that brings us to the Sam Darnold paradox. When you have a team that's this loaded, this complete, all eyes, all the pressure, zooms in on the one guy who touches the ball on every single offensive play. And that's where this whole story gets, complicated. Because Sam Darnold is both their biggest reason for hope and, at the same time, their biggest potential liability. He is the walking, talking paradox that is going to decide their fate. So let's start with the good stuff, and it's really good. On one hand, you've got this incredible success story. By pretty much any way you can measure it, Sam Darnold just had the best season of his entire career. This was a full-on breakout year for him. He made his first Pro Bowl, threw for over 4,000 yards, 25 touchdowns. For huge parts of the season, he was the guy, the engine of that offense, making these incredible high-level throws that win games. He finally started to look like the superstar everyone thought he'd be coming out of college. And then there's the other side of that coin, 20. Just look at that number, 20 turnovers this season. And that number wasn't just, a little high. It was the most turnovers by any player in the entire NFL. This right here, this is the fatal flaw. This is the big problem in an otherwise championship-level team. Yeah, during the regular season, a defense that good can bail you out sometimes. But the playoffs, man, that's a different animal. Against the best of the best, one single turnover, just one, can be the play that sends you home for the year. And that's the number that has the entire city of Seattle just holding its breath. So that leads to the big question, right? How does a quarterback who has a turnover problem survive, let alone win, in the playoffs, where every mistake is magnified? Well, to get an answer, you might as well go to the guy who wrote the book on it. The GOAT himself, Tom Brady, was actually asked about this exact situation with Darnold, and he laid out a perfect blueprint for how to win in January. And Brady's first point is really the absolute core truth of playoff football. He says the margin of error, it just shrinks down to almost nothing. You know that pass you threw a little high back in October that just fell incomplete? Well, now it's the divisional round. There's an all-pro safety back there just reading your eyes, and that same exact pass is now a pick six that changes the entire game. Brady is basically saying your talent can't save you anymore. When the pressure's on, you have to fall back on your training, on your fundamentals. It's all about the little things, your footwork, your balance, how you release the ball. It has to be perfect every single time. Now, this is really interesting. Listen to the example Brady uses here. He points to Aaron Rodgers, who everyone agrees has some of the most perfect throwing mechanics we've ever seen. So why Rodgers? It's because his motion is so clean, so repeatable, that it basically doesn't matter what the weather is. Brady's pointing out that in January, you're not just playing the other team, you're playing the elements. It's cold, it's windy, it might be raining, and those conditions are going to expose any tiny little flaw in how you throw the ball. If your front shoulder flies open just a little bit, the wind is going to grab that ball and take it somewhere you never intended. It's a huge warning. Your raw talent is not enough. You need technical perfection. And finally, Brady makes this critical point. Being clutch doesn't just happen on game day. It's built all week long on the practice field. He talks about how coaches need to create stress on purpose. Blast crowd noise, throw crazy defensive looks at you, send blitzes you're not expecting. The whole point is to train your brain and your body to stay calm when things get chaotic, so that when it happens in a real game, it feels normal. Because like he says, trying to come back from turnovers against a great team in the playoffs, it's pretty much a losing battle. The only winning move is not to make the mistake in the first place. Okay, so this is where it gets really fascinating, because everything Tom Brady just said, be careful, avoid mistakes, play it safe, it seems to go completely against the coaching philosophy that made Sam Darnold a Pro Bowler this year. It's like the Seahawks have decided to completely ignore Brady's advice and instead walk this incredibly dangerous tightrope with their quarterback. Yeah, this quote from Coach McDonald says it all. He's basically saying, hey, we know there's a risk. They believe that if they tell Darnold to stop taking chances, to stop trying to fit the ball into tight windows, they'll also lose the explosive playmaker that got them this far. It's a calculated risk. Their whole mantra is aggressive, not reckless. They want him to be decisive, to trust his arm, and just rip it. They're betting that he'll make more big plays for them than big mistakes against them. And you want to see that boom or bust philosophy in action? Just look at the 2 games they played this year against the same team, the LA Rams. Early in the season, you saw the bust. It was a total meltdown. Darnold was forcing things, threw 4 interceptions, and they got crushed. It was a complete disaster. But then, fast forward to week 16, the game is on the line, and you see the boom. He stands in the pocket, takes a hit, and delivers an absolute dime for the game-winning touchdown in overtime. It was a heroic, incredible moment. Same quarterback, same team, same philosophy, but 2 completely different results. It's the perfect example of a double-edged sword. So, let's recap where we are. We've got a powerhouse team, a quarterback who could win the game or lose it on any given throw, and this massive debate over whether he should play it safe or stay aggressive. I mean, you'd think the drama couldn't get any higher, right? Well, wrong. A late report from practice this week just threw a huge, unexpected wrench into the whole situation. Seriously, you gotta ask yourself this question. For a guy who is already under the microscope for all his turnovers, about to play the biggest game of his life against a rival that knows all his bad habits, could things possibly get any worse? Well, the answer, unfortunately, was yes. A big, resounding yes. And it all happened at Thursday's practice. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. The timing is just awful. So the news starts trickling out of the facility. During a pretty normal throw, Sam Darnold felt something tweak in his left side. He stopped immediately, went to get treatment, and bam, he's officially listed as limited on the injury report. Now his status for the game is questionable, and the injury? It's an oblique. Okay, so what exactly is an oblique injury, and why is this a total nightmare for a quarterback? Well, think about throwing a football. All the power comes from the ground up, through your legs, and then it's amplified by the twisting of your core. Your obliques, those are the muscles that power that twist. So if they're hurt, the whole chain is broken. It can completely sap a quarterback's power, turning a laser into a lollipop. It can mess with your accuracy, making the ball sail all over the place. It literally affects every single pass you try to make. Now, of course, Darnold came out and did exactly what you'd expect. He tried to downplay it. He told reporters it was just a precaution, that he feels like he'll be ready to go, even saying the chance he misses the game is probably closer to 0. And look, he's a tough guy. He's probably going to play. But this adds a whole new layer of doubt, doesn't it? Is he really 100%? Can that muscle hold up for a full game of getting hit and twisting? Even if he's only at 90%, that 10% could easily be the difference between a game-winning touchdown and a game-losing interception. All right, so let's put it all together. The great team, the risky quarterback, the conflicting advice, the last-minute injury, all of it leads us to the one ultimate question that is going to decide everything for the Seattle Seahawks. So here's the final breakdown. You've got a Super Bowl caliber roster with the best defense in football. Leading them is a Pro Bowl QB who also leads the league in turnovers. You've got Tom Brady's advice saying don't make mistakes, and his own coach's philosophy saying go make plays. And to top it all off, you have an injury that could affect the most basic part of his job. I mean, every single one of these things is pulling him in a different direction. And so this is it. This is what it all boils down to. His biggest weakness is out there for everyone to see. His body is now a question mark, and a hungry rival is just waiting for him to make one mistake. So, who is the real Sam Darnold? Is he the elite quarterback who can put this team on his back and carry them to a Super Bowl? Or is he the guy who makes the one critical error that ends their dream season? Everything, literally everything, depends on the answer to that question. So now I've got to turn it over to you. What do you think is going to happen? Does this injury actually make him play smarter, more like Brady suggested? Or does he stick with his coach's plan to just rip it and risk it all? Let me know what you think is going to happen down in the comments. I'm really curious to see your predictions, and yeah, I do read all of them. Hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button for NFL Nexus and give this video a like. It really helps the channel out. And also, if you're looking for a really cool way to support what we do here and maybe just unwind a bit, you should definitely check out our football coloring books. Seriously, they're awesome for fans of any age. For you, your kids, your grandkids, whoever. You can grab one using the QR code on the screen or just click the link down in the description. Thanks so much for watching.